Kyrie Irving sitting down the season. You like Kyrie Irving. Listen, man, you former players, you fall in love with talent. You know what I like? I like tough guys. I like coachable guys. I like guys who will set a screen. Mm-hmm. I like talent. Mm-hmm. But if you told me at FS1, we can bring on this NBA analyst. He's needy. He sometimes doesn't show up to work. I'm like, I'd take a little less talent. You bring it every time you're on. Yeah. Every time. I don't need superstars to do what you do. You're a good player, and you're great on TV. Kyrie's always hurt, and he's hard to coach. Mm-hmm. So now he's down for the year again? Why do you like him?
Well, two things. One, people say he's a bad teammate. When have we ever heard one teammate of his publicly say he's a bad teammate? Name one.
Well, didn't a couple Celtics come out? Didn't Jaylen Brown?
Did he say he was a bad teammate?
Well, people don't like the smoke. They don't like the blowback if you say that publicly.
Okay, so what did he say, though?
Well, it's pretty obvious they're better without him.
Well, okay, now, listen. That situation, if you know basketball, you know that situation was going to implode.
Why?
Because you had two young stars who had already coming into this league. They came to Boston to be superstars.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yes, they didn't come to Boston to be third and fourth fiddle to Kyrie. They came there to be superstars. So once they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie, there's no way that was going to work because he wasn't a part of that grind. He wasn't a part of it. So there's no way that's going to work. Second to the Brooklyn part, it makes no sense when you have an injury-prone star to force him to play when your best player is not playing, is not going to play all season, and you know you're not going to reach your full potential this year anyway. It makes more sense to just let him rest the rest of the season so he won't get a serious injury. Now you have him out next year because we know he's injury-prone. So you might as well just rest him. It makes more sense.
So basically, you're now in bed with two injury-prone guys, and you're just going to sit him. I'm paying $400 to take my son to a game, and what do I get? I don't get Kyrie. I don't get Durant.
Well, you knew you weren't going to get Durant this year.
But, I mean, now I don't get Kyrie. You're sitting down. Let's be honest about this thing.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay. So you wouldn't do it, and you would not like playing with a guy who did it. You've told me that.
I would understand it if it was an injury-prone guy. Like if I played with Kawhi and we had to do the load management thing for him to be successful and play like he plays in the postseason, I would be all for it. But at the same time, it has to be an injury where it's not something they doing just to cater to the star because it will kill the momentum and the camaraderie of the team because we know you make it doing. By the way, it's favoritism.
Brooklyn right now. What do those players think about Kyrie?
They love him.
He's sitting down on him.
But even after the little comment he made about the team in the paper, his teammates came out and defended him. We know Kyrie. We know what he meant by it. He's just pushing up. He's just pushing everybody. I haven't heard one person on that team take it any other way.
Okay, Lakers and Clippers. Reggie Jackson, he's going to go to the Clippers.
Smart.
My takeaway is I don't think he makes them better. I think it's symbolism that Lakers, we're not giving him to you. We got a stacked roster. We got 4 guards who can shoot. We got 4 guards who can guard LeBron. They've already beaten the Lakers twice. If you look at the stats up on the screen for our television viewers, Lakers are not the same offense without him. I don't think he matters in the playoffs. I don't think your number 4 guard matters. But I do think it was symbolic. You ain't getting him. We're getting him. We got Marcus Morris. We're coming after you.
Well, if the Clippers are doing that, it can backfire on them. You're already dealing with a team that hasn't played with Kawhi and Paul George at the same time for a number of games.
True.
So that's why they haven't been consistent. They've been up and down. And that's why nobody really see an identity from their team yet. So you think by not playing these guys yet, not having chemistry with your 2 stars, that you can add in 2 more guys before the playoffs and team have a great chemistry? It doesn't work like that. You have to get these guys acclimated now. Reggie, Morris, Kawhi, and George, you have to get these guys playing on the same page right now. I don't care how good your team is. I don't care what you look like on paper. You can't just throw guys in the playoffs together and expect that to work.
How long does it take?
It's going to take a month or 2. It's going to take them. You have to. That chemistry has to grow. It comes from mistakes. It comes from Kawhi and Reggie not talking and Reggie man getting backdoor because it has to be built during the game. You can't just build it by showing up.
Doesn't work at practice.
It don't work at practice. It's a part of it at practice, but games, that's when you build that camaraderie.
So at San Antonio, how long did it take you to feel like you were one with the system?
Well, one thing about San Antonio, we all in San Antonio working out 2 months before the season starts. So by training camp, we already got the camaraderie. We know what we like to do. Now it's just learning how to play together to win games in the NBA. And it's easier that way, but we showed up 2 months before training camp started.
Well, they can't do this.
A lot of guys don't do that no more.
By the way, it feels to me like you think the Lakers will be a different team in the playoffs.
I do.
Why? What?
Well,
what will
one, LeBron has never played with a guy with the talent of Anthony Davis. And two, the game slows down in the playoffs. The game slows down. Perfect example. You want to know why LeBron's team was so successful in the All-Star game? Because they had all the closers on his team. He had all the guys that in 2 minutes left, you can give them the ball, move everybody out the way, and they can get a bucket, right? He has AD now. All the pressure's not going to be on him. You can just throw it down to AD for 10 possessions, and he can get a bucket. When the game slows down, when you have two players like that in the playoffs, that's two guys you can rely on.
I want to ask you about something. Joy and I talk about this often. Tanking. Mm-hmm. It got the Rockets Akeem. It got the Spurs Duncan. Mm-hmm. It got the Colts Andrew Luck. It works. Now, Phoenix Suns are a mess, but most of the time, it got the Cavs LeBron. Mm-hmm. Tanking works. My question is now, though, the players you get for tanking are 19. When you played in the league, you got Tim Duncan, you got a 23-year-old, you got a man ready to play.
Right.
Your takeaway on tanking in the NBA?
I always ask, how do you tank? I've never been a part of it. I think, they tried to put me in a tanking situation in Milwaukee.
You felt it?
Yeah, I was there 5 games. And when I saw Andrew Bogut on the bench not starting, when I wasn't playing the minutes that I should have been playing, I went to him 5 games and told him, look, I'm going to stay home. I'm not traveling with the team. I'm not doing nothing. I talked to the Spurs. They want to bring me back. Y'all worked that out. Y'all figured it out, but I'm not showing up to nothing. I don't want to be a part of it. Scott Skiles, will tell you, I really didn't like Scott Skiles. And they traded me. We ended up making it to the West Conference Finals when I got to San Antonio. Obviously, we lost in Game 6 to KD and them, but I was always a winner. I won on every level, high school, overseas, NBA. I won on every level, so I could never settle for that. So teams do tank, but they don't run that by players. What they do is they put players in situations where they have to explode or to situations where they give them a reason to sit them down. So now, I have a reason to sit him down now, so it makes it look like our team is not winning because of him.
So you remember the night in Milwaukee?
Yes.
When you can remember the night and you're like, oh, we're tanking.
Oh, no question. I kind of seen going into it. When I got traded there, they wasn't that good. But when I got there, they was trying to trade Bogut. He was healthy. They wasn't playing him. Then I started the game, then wasn't starting. Brandon Jennings was in it. I'm like, they don't want to win, So just let me separate myself, because if I stay in this situation, it's going to get worse. Either I'm going to put my hands on somebody or something going to happen. So I just need to remove myself and go to a winner or somewhere where they want to win and they care about the game of basketball.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. I think it's tanking. It does work. And there are, the ideal way to tank is Peyton Manning gets hurt. There's 4 games left, and you just sit him. Mm-hmm. Like, then you're not going to make the playoffs anyway.
Miami tried to tank, and they ended up winning. The Dolphins.
Well, and the other thing is, I think pride takes over.
Yeah.
The bottom, I'm a coach.
It should, though.
Well, of course, I'm a coach. I'm going to out-scheme you. And by the way, Miami's players, it's all on tape. Mm-hmm. Everything you guys do in athletics, it's on film.
Right.
Coaches and players don't tank. Front offices and owners tank.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.